stadium with 70,000 plus. No one in the Hawkeye State is neutral about this one. The 50th meeting between the Cyclones of Iowa State and the Iowa Hawkeyes. How intense is this rivalry? All you need to know is that for 43 years, there was so much bad blood, they were not allowed in the same stadium together. But 25 years ago, they started up the series again. It gets better every year. Welcome to Iowa City. Dave Barnett, along with Bill Curry, Mike Golick. For Iowa, it all comes down to how they deal with Seneca Wallace.
You know, we always talk with the coaches, Dave, and then talking with the Iowa defensive coaches, it's obvious they have an obsession with number 15, the quarterback, Seneca Wallace, and with good reason. Mike, he is a nightmare for coaching.
Well, you want to stop him, control the ball. Iowa is 6th in the country in rushing, 282 yards a game. 4 seniors on the offensive line. Dave, the Hogs for Iowa can control this game.
Iowa State has won the last 4, and mostly close calls by 3 at home last year. 25 years ago, they started up this series again. And everybody in the state of Iowa has their eyes on Kinnick Stadium right now. Iowa State has won the toss and elected to defer. Iowa receiving. Drives it low. And Iowa will break a big return. To the 46-yard line, Jermel Lewis.
What a way to start the game. This is want. This is absolute want by Lewis running the ball. Good blocking. You'll see he'll have a hole, but then he starts to break the tackles. And now it's legs churning. You're not going to bring me down. That's a way to start a ball game if you're for Iowa.
42-yard return for Lewis. Brad Banks, senior quarterback, Belle Glades, Florida, 5th nationally this week in pass efficiency. At 66%, 3 touchdowns, has not been intercepted yet. And a play fake on the money to C.J. Jones, his cousin, and already into Cyclone territory at the 46-yard line. Brad Banks, 10 games last year, mostly as a backup to Kyle McCann. He can run the ball, too. With him in the backfield, Fred Russell gets his 3rd straight start. 2nd in the nation, 160 yards per game so far. Cervantes is fullback, and up front, Gallery, Steinbach, Nelson, Lightfoot, and Porter. That's 4 seniors, 1 junior. And when you have experience like that on your offensive line, you expect to have a good year. So far, they are. Here's Russell. Russell into the clear and gone. 46 yards, touchdown, Hawkeye.
We just talked about the offensive line. The main man on the offensive line, Bruce Nelson, his 38th consecutive start, number 72. He gets the kickoff block. Russell slipped 1 block. That's all he needed. Anthony Forrest misses him, and he is off to the races, all starting by that big O-line and experienced line up front.
2 plays, 1 minute gone. Nate Kading makes it 7-0 Iowa.
Everything starts with the big men up front. We say that again and again. Very seldom do we get to show you. Watch 72, the center. That's a trap block right there. Something not done by centers until just within the last 3 or 4 years. But excellent agility from the former walk-on player. And I might add, an excellent student, Bruce Nelson. And he wasn't the only one that did a good job in there. Andy Lightfoot, number 70, the right guard. Steinbach, 56, the left guard. All conspiring to open that big hole for Russell.
Well, this is what you're going to see out of Iowa. Again, 4 out of 5 are seniors up front. They have a lot of experience. They want to play smash mouth football, Dave. Control the ball. You do that, Seneca Wallace doesn't see the field as much.
Wow. If there's any complaint with that drive, Hey, guys, you scored too fast. We got to play defense against Seneca now. You think Dan McCarney's intense? That's how it feels. All in that face right there. He's won 4 in a row from his alma mater.
So Kading has it teed up. And Seneca Wallace, when he finally takes the field, will already have a deficit to try and cut into. Backbeat Lance Young and Michael Wagner. And this is a high one coming down to Wagner at the 8th. Wagner spins off the hit. Return to the 25-yard line. Now we get to see Seneca Wallace, and if you haven't seen him, you're in for a treat today. Senior out of Sacramento, almost completely overlooked by everybody. Went to Oregon State as the defensive back kick returner. Transferred to Sacramento City College. Now he is lighting up fields all over the Big 12. Danielson and Montgomery, his receivers. Hiawatha Rutland has already had big days. 93 yards against Florida State, 122 against Kansas. Ridley, the fullback, knocked the tight end. Knock in motion. And Wallace to the air. And a throw on the run broken up. Derek Cagle with a hand on that one. And the Iowa State offensive line. Shelton, Johnson, Butler, Montgomery, Stubby. Biggest man is Johnson at 321, the Iowa defensive front.
And across the way, Colin Cole, number 94, is the undisputed leader of the defensive front men. Look for Cole to be encouraging his men by example.
Kenny Segan in motion. And they go reverse to Lane Danielson, who feels nobody and loses to the 22. Grant Steen, least of all, was he fooled.
What a great job by Grant Steen, number 42. This is starting to sound like a broken record. He's a former walk-on. What he did is to hold his ground. He did not run in pursuit. His job was to remain exactly where he is, in place, looking for something coming back. When he does that, the play is dead. As fast as Danielson is, Steen's in too good a position for him. Great football play.
So loss is 3 and 3rd and 13 has Wallace in the gun with 4 wide. Quarterback draw all the way. And they have that bottled up pretty well. Chased to the sideline by D.J. Johnson. Iowa linebackers, Steen, Barr, and Worthy.
Barr, guy, the 13th on all-time list in tackles. You'll see him everywhere.
And in the secondary, watch Sanders today, all Big Ten and pound for pound about as big a hitter as there is in college football. So Tony Yelp will kick it away for the Cyclone. Ed Hinkle standing at his 32. High snap. But not a bad kick. And it chases Hinkle back. In fact, he will take it on a hop. And with a marker down, Hinkle weaving to the 30. A 54-yard boot by Yelp.
Yeah, they're going to get him for blocking in the back. This one will come back.
One thing I noticed there, Hinkle did not display confidence in catching that ball on the fly. He waited for it to bounce. He's dropped 2 punts this year. I think that affected him.
10-yard penalty for the spot foul. First down.
Hal Dowden, referee, a Big 12 officiating crew. So 7-0. 12:40 to go in the first quarter at a wild Kinnick Stadium already.
Out here, everyone has their own mountain to climb, to measure up to.
I'm home!
Dad's home!
Wendy's 99-cent crispy chicken nuggets introduces Movie Mania.
Yay, nuggets! See ya!
Hey, how was your day?
Now with every order of delicious all-white meat nuggets, you'll win one of 50 million prizes or offers, including millions of free movie rentals at Blockbuster.
Forget something?
Sauce.
Sauce. Hang on.
The 99-cent chicken nuggets and Movie Mania at Wendy's. It's better here.
Dad, the movie's starting.
Man, I'm telling you, Tiki's unstoppable. Come on, dude. Nobody gets past Javon. Oh, yeah? We'll see. Hey, do not mess with the pre.
The NFL equipment jerseys. Just try one on. Tiki Barber scrambling for yardage. Breaks free. Tiki toward the end zone. Thirst from out of nowhere. Wow, that's quite a hit. Nothing's built like the new NFL equipment jerseys at Champ Sports.
Better luck next time, Tiki.
I told you nobody gets past Javon.
Shelly, listen, it's Greg. I'm at the dentist.
Yeah, okay. Shelly?
I want to come into work.
They don't know what I've got.
I have a tooth. Scratching, rashing, 24-hour, like, mumps. What else can I have?
Oh, yeah, I'm really sick.
Both ears gone.
Really bad haircut.
I'm in traction.
The Acura MDX with torque managing four-wheel drive.
I was eating waxed fruit this week. No.
Taking the SUV to a place it's never been before.
They train him early. And they paint him early.
Yeah. What happened to her face?
Sure, she was real happy about that. Hold still. Hawkeyes start from inside their own 15. Their first possession is scored on 2 plays. This one starts with a give to the man who had the touchdown, Fred Russell. And he is buried by Matt Word. Iowa State already burned defensively up front. Karsten, the former 228-pound walk-on, now goes 300 pounds. Co-defensive MVP last year, along with Jeremy Lloyd. Word and Brown, co-tackling leaders through their first 3 games. And in the secondary, Austin and Timmons, both 3-year starters. Russell got 4. Banks with all kinds of time and all kinds of room to pick up the first down himself across the 25. And let's welcome the 4th member of our crew on the sidelines as always, Michelle Tafoya.
All right, Dave. Well, I spoke with Iowa legend Hayden Fry this week, and he said watching his 2 former assistants, Kirk Ferentz and Dan McCarney, face off is excruciating. But he has a lot of tough weekends because when you consider how many coaches were his assistants, look at them in the Big 12 and the Big 10. So many weekends are difficult for him. Dan McCarney actually started this streak of 4 straight Iowa State wins with a win over Hayden Fry in Fry's last season. But Fry told me, hey, I wasn't bitter about it. I just said, man, I'm a hell of a good teacher.
And back to bite him. Russell through a huge hole. And another first down. 13 yards. 4th year, Kirk Ferentz anointed to replace Hayden here. 0-3 against Iowa State. And after a rough beginning, he has turned it around. Champions of the Alamo Bowl in San Antonio after last year. And Dan McCarney weathered some rough weather early. Now in his 8th year, 9 and 7 wins the last 2 years. Their best season since 1906, that 9-3 2000, when they knew for sure they had the right man to lead them back. Russell again through 1 tackle and cut down nicely by Jermaine Billups, a converted running back up from safety.
And what you're going to have to see from that defense for Iowa State as they try and tackle Fred Russell, you're going to have to see the linebackers and probably strong safety make the plays, because this offensive line for Iowa that blocks in front of Fred, I call them stick and stay guys. They stick on their men and they stay on their men and they move them off the ball. So it's going to be incumbent on the strong safety and the backers to make the play on Fred Russell, not 4 and 5 yards down the field, though.
Aaron Greving checks in for the first time this year. In fact, did not play the first 2 games or in spring. Had been listed as the starter. A sprained ankle has made Russell the starter. And here's Greving's first carry for the 44, where it will be 3rd and about 5. Greving, a junior from Ames. Think he gets some flack when he goes.
Oh, he said some people were just really angry at me because I decided to go to Iowa. But he said, I just fell in love with Iowa City. And after hanging around here a couple of days, we can understand.
If
Sure, Ames is a lovely place, too.
If you're going to leave Ames for Iowa, you have to beat Iowa State. When you go home, you're going to hear about that.
Well, he's been doing that.
Edgar Cervantes now is the lone setback with 3 wideouts on 3rd down. And again, all day for Banks. Incomplete through Cervantes' hands. He got blown up by Jeremy Lloyd.
Well, that's exactly the position Iowa State wants to be in. 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 plus. Force the pocket pass. Then Iowa State on defense is now dictating. The whole issue of the offense for Iowa is to put themselves into position for play action or run in that position. It was going to be strictly pass. So Iowa State wins the chess match.
And to keep Seneca off the field.
The Hawkeyes may have the best special teams in the country. They lead the nation in net punting. David Bradley, 48 yards net in their first 2 games. This one is only 36, and fair caught by Todd Miller. So Seneca Wallace will go back to work. Iowa State's all-time leader in pass efficiency, who almost upset Florida State on the first weekend of the season.
I'm here for the install. I'm at your front door, sir.
I'll tell you what. We'll meet you back there sometime between 12 and 5. Always wanted to say that.
The more powerful Acura RL.
Someone asked me once if I had my shirt special made. I told them I got mine like everybody else at Tractor Supply. The Wrangler jeans, Carhartt coats and workwear, Walls coveralls, plus clothes for the whole family. There's just no place that fits my life better than Tractor Supply. Heck, it's even where I go to get socks.
Tractor Supply. For 1 acre or 1,000, we'll help you get the job done.
The first oil filter ever made back in 1923 wasn't called an oil filter. It was called a purulator. Today, every car on the road relies on technology pioneered by Purolator. And the same company that invented the oil filter just keeps reinventing it. So that for anyone who cares enough to change their own oil, Purolator continues to mean pure oil then, pure oil now, pure oil later. Now in new pure oil packaging.
Second possession now, the Cyclones start from their own 20. And Wallace will start from the gun. And fake an inside give to Rutland. Throw deep, wide open, Danielson. He will be caught from behind at the 20 by Bob Sanders. 59 yards. Lane Danielson could not have been more wide open.
Well, you set it up off the play action, get Wallace on the corner. This is prime time Iowa State offense right here because Wallace has a gun for an arm. He loves to get the corner. We'll take a look at Lane getting down the field, fakes it out. Then we got an up after the play action, fools everybody. He is wide open, just gets caught, but that's all set up by the play action, good route running, and the arm strength of Seneca Wallace on the rollout.
Another star former walk-on. Both rosters littered with people like Lane Danielson. Wallace, gunning complete. Lance Young is inside the 15. And let's check into the studio with Reese Davis.
All right, Dave, measuring stick game for the Buckeyes and the Cougars. Washington State and Ohio State, 18-7 Buckeyes on top. Now, nobody's ever going to confuse Craig Frenzel with Seneca Wallace, but Craig showing off some wheels. Getting down inside the 5. They marked him down about the 2. Claret took it in from there, and look at this. Nevada, 31-21 in the third over BYU.
Boy, look at that indeed. What we have here, 7-0 Iowa. They scored on their second play from scrimmage. A 46-yard run by Fred Russell. 70,000, almost all in black and gold in Iowa City. And the Hawkeyes have scored a touchdown so far every game.
Make it 3. Change that 2 to 3.
There's Norm Parker, the defensive coordinator, just to the right of your screen in that previous shot. He's the guy that has been sleepless sleepless in Iowa City over Seneca.
And a penalty, which makes it 1st and goal from the 7. Illegal hit penalty. Rutland throwing for about a yard down to Michelle.
You guys just pointed out Norm Parker. He gave me an intriguing analogy for Seneca Wallace. He said Wallace can throw as well running to his left as he can running to his right. He said, how many right-handed point guards can drive to their left as well as they can to their right? Defending Seneca Wallace is like guarding Allen Iverson man-to-man, Dave.
Says it all, really. Almost no one can do that.
I wonder how the jumper is done.
2nd down and goal from the 6. Rutland through the middle. Touchdown. Hiawatha Rutland through a huge hole, and the late hit really hurting Iowa, setting up the Cyclones with the 1st and goal.
Well, looks like we've got another fine offensive line here. Zach Butler, number 68, the center, does an excellent job on Big Cole. Look at that, just washed him out of the play. Colin Cole is not easily handled, and that's tough when you have to snap the ball. You can chalk that one up to number 68, Zach Butler.
Adam Beneke ties it up. And the Cyclones show a little poise. Back on their heels after the first 2 snaps of the game, but they have tied it at 7.
Task number 12. Shag fly balls at any Major League Baseball batting practice.
So it's not possible at all. I see them come by and just bang it on the fly.
Very shagadelic, baby.
Every second counts.
No money. This is a whole new way to travel.
Introducing Beg, Borrow, and Deal, the new reality game show from ESPN.
You're hopeless. Every 5 minutes, you have to start over and say, now what do I do?
All you do is cry. I cannot believe that.
The begging begins Tuesday, 8 p.m. on ESPN.
Yeah, he's in a hurry to get home. He just went all digital with Cox.
Digital cable and high-speed internet?
Uh-huh.
Play through. Do you feel this way about TV in your home? You will with Cox Digital Cable. Call today and get installed for only $19.95. Plus, get HBO and Cinemax free for your first month. Call 623-594-1102 today.
College football is on AZ-TV. Catch the best of NCAA Division I football. The Pac-10, the Big Ten, the Big East, Mountain West, the MAC, the WAC, and more. Featuring bone-crushing coverage of the Devils, the Cats, and the Lumberjacks. AZ-TV, your new source for NCAA sports. Catch all the action when Arizona State travels to San Diego State today at 7 p.m. live on AZ-TV. Arizona's own.
Brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
Iowa State with a 9-point lead. And again, Iowa will have to start 80 yards away. Down to Michelle.
Dave, take a look as Bob Sanders made his way into the Iowa locker room on crutches, no elevator, so he's having to use crutches to get himself upstairs. You know, I had asked Bob Sanders what it takes to be a great hitter. He said it takes heart, it takes a sense of no fear, and you cannot think about getting hurt. And it's sort of ironic that just yesterday, less than 24 hours ago, he was telling us that. He was never afraid, but I'm sure he's a little bit fearful about what those x-rays on his foot are going to tell him.
No doubt. In Iowa, every play they're without him, they regret it. They have been held to 48 total yards here in the second half, and they start 80 yards away, needing 2 scores in a little over 5 minutes. A good start, good throw, Hinkle, and then lost him. And Iowa State recovers. Harold Lewis on the recovery, a backup corner.
Yeah, we've seen Banks drop a ball, get a ball knocked out of his hands. Now receiver, lose the ball. Amazing what's going on in the collapse of the Hawkeyes this second half. Nice throw, everything's there, puts it right on the money. Hinkle trying to get the yards, tries to cut back inside. Gets a hand on the ball. Harold Lewis causes a fumble, and there is rejoicing. The people that aren't here are watching in Ames, Iowa right now.
Brad Banks, who has lost 2 fumbles of his own this half. So now they'll grind out as much as they can. Never give to Rutland. Turnovers helping the Iowa State cause to a huge degree.
I'm just amazed at this, and certainly the turnovers. I mean that is awful, but Iowa State has converted them. Still, we talk about the adjustments you make at halftime, but we've seen from the line to the quarterback to the running backs, they have just played differently this half. They have just outplayed Iowa. They've out-hit Iowa when that's what Iowa did to Iowa State in the first half.
And now for Iowa is they need to turn around and strip the ball. Now that is almost impossible to do to an Iowa State running back. Wallace carries out the fake. Didn't want to get knocked out of bounds, though, and he is to stop the clock at 4:20. The thing that Iowa State does in terms of not fumbling the ball, Bill, is the best I think I've ever seen by any team at avoiding turnovers. They lost 2 fumbles all of last year. Neither was by a tailback. Their tailbacks have lost a total of 4 fumbles in over 2,000 touches in the last 5 seasons.
Let me tell you something. That's good.
Now that's some sharp analysis.
Way to break it down, Bill.
That's very good. What's not so good is that Wallace ran out of bounds, and he can't believe he did it, and I can't either.
Rolling left again. And steps out of bounds and looks to be short of the first. We check in quickly with Reese Davis.
All right, Dave, Penn State and Nebraska. Nebraska marched back down after the Larry Johnson touchdown and about the 2, and Judge Davies just going to slam it in there for the Huskers. They are locked up at 7, and State has the ball back moving some. Florida's been sloppy. It's been a driving rainstorm, but they're in control against Ohio 21-6.
Where are the red pants? When was the last time Nebraska did
well, they need to change something, but and more than red pants to get them to where they can tackle after last year. But I am amazed at Seneca Wallace, and we've bragged and bragged on him. He's run out of bounds twice in a row. That's a 4-minute they could have run off the clock.
A lot of time still on that clock, as Benecke's 38-yarder is good. And so they need 2 touchdowns in 4 minutes and 8 seconds. You wouldn't believe it, but there are some in black and gold who are starting their way out of Kinnick Stadium.
Coming Tuesday, 9/8 Central, the people are different.
Is he all right? Just cold, that's all.
Their secrets are deadly.
What are you looking for in this town, Jim?
And one man will stop at nothing.
You will find that my tenacity is infinite. You will never escape me.
To discover the truth.
There is a substantial amount of money missing from my safe.
A mystery you can live. Desire you can feel. A fortune you can win. Push Nevada. The adventure begins with a special preview Tuesday, 9/8 Central on ABC.
Well, okay, we can't make all your dreams come true, but we can save you huge money on auto parts when you buy from an authorized AA dealer. Look in the yellow pages under Auto Wreckers and look for the AA logo, or shop online at AARA.com. It's like a dream come true.
You'll find that many of the designer suits that we sell for $200 are made with the same quality and care as those that others sell for twice as much, which probably explains why we can sell so many of them, which in turn explains why we can sell them for $200.
100% wool, $200. Men's Warehouse.
You're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it.
To contact the store nearest you, call 1-800-776-SUIT.
36-24, and the exodus has begun from Kinnick Stadium. We salute the airmen assigned to the Pacific Air Forces watching our telecast on the American Forces Network, including the members of the 374th Airlift Wing at Yokota Air Base, Japan, the hub of the Pacific. This is going to be returned by C.J. Jones. And he may have something here. Reverses field. May need one more block. Yelp turned him back inside, and he's to the 49-yard line, and there's a start at least. A 46-yard return by C.J. Jones, where it looked like he had nothing.
And while we talk about strength coaches, the strength coach for Iowa State, strength and conditioning, here we are in a second half, essentially a blowout by his team. Matt McGettigan was the 2001 National Strength and Conditioning Coach of the Year. So maybe we should have been bragging on Matt. He got his guys coming out here in the second half and just taking over.
Iowa with 2 timeouts, 3:49 remaining. They start with Banks from the gun, and his receiver fell down on the cut. It might have been a nice gain or two for Maurice Brown had he kept his footing.
Both these teams last year were outscored in the fourth quarter. Iowa 72-43. Iowa State surprisingly outscored 62-60 in the fourth quarter in games a year ago.
And the leader of these matchups after one quarter has won 11 of the last 12. That has been turned on its ear. Halftime leader won 12 straight of these. That also may be about to end. Another incompletion. It will be 3rd and 10. Down to Michelle.
Dave, you just mentioned one point. I mean, imagine Iowa having a 24-7 halftime lead, knowing the team leading at half has won the last 12, and believing that the seniors were going to finally get their win over their in-state rival, and then seeing all of that just slip away in a matter of what seemed like minutes. This is a very dejected Iowa bench.
Bill, I go back to what you were told when you took over to Alabama about the Alabama-Auburn series, and you said, yeah, that's like life or death, isn't it?
Yeah, except it's more important than that.
A lot more important here in this state, too. Banks will keep, should get the first down, and knew exactly where he needed to get, and he beat it by a foot. Out of bounds, first down, 41-yard line. Seneca Wallace has been beyond on fire in the second half. He's thrown for 361 yards. Banks with 140, and what will stick in his craw are the 2 third-quarter fumbles when he dropped the ball back to pass and simply lost his grip.
Both these men are just belying the image of the junior college quarterback transfer, that they can't pick up systems. They've been around other programs too long. They can't come in and run your offense. These guys have both mastered sophisticated offenses. They both audible at the line of scrimmage. They both do things intuitively, and Seneca Wallace has proved himself a genius in football beyond his physical ability, particularly Wallace.
Here's the last half dozen times Iowa's had the ball. 3 fumbles, 2 punts, and a safety.
Look at the yards, too. We saw they were just eating up the yardage in the first half off the run. And these are complete drives for these yards. They were getting this amount of yards in one play. What an incredible turnaround.
Well, from the first half, when all they had to do is hand it to Fred Russell, and you get 10 yards a pop. Scored on a 1-play drive, scored on a 2-play drive in the first half. Second half, nothing. And on a safety blitz, Anthony Forrest comes, and he gets Banks again with some help. Brandon Brown gets in there as well.
Yeah, and here's a thing that Banks should have been able to see. Forrest gave this away. He came creeping up. He showed that he was coming, and you got to compensate for that. You can't just miss that. And obviously, Banks just didn't see him. He creeped up. He showed he was coming. There is an adjustment. You either got to get a hot route and throw it, or you got to check to a run, do something to keep that from happening. That's a drive killer.
And this is going to kill their second timeout. They have only 1 left. They had everybody up on the line of scrimmage, clock running, and didn't like what they had. 2:53 and 1 timeout left.
Confusion in the offensive brain trust for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and it's understandable under these circumstances.
Don't forget, good Sunday night football matchup tomorrow night on ESPN. Pittsburgh and Oakland, beginning with NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite at 7:30 Eastern, and then Rich Gannon and the Raiders will go head-to-head with Cordell Stewart and the Steelers. They look to avoid an 0-2 start.
The whole team gathers. Dan McCarney gets that whole team together. He knows there's 2:53 left. He knows there's time on the clock. He knows Iowa could do something. He gets that whole team together and reminds them. I guarantee you they were all looking up at that clock. And he was saying, until there's 3 zeros there, you play your guts out.
There's something about that physical proximity, just being in that huddle with your guys, everybody, special teams, offense, defense, not just one unit or another, not with your position coach, but everybody looking each other in the eye and reconfirming that resolve. Let's finish this job.
Talk about looking in the eye. Look at the look of the eye.
Not a good look. Brook Trout stare.
Now they're ready on 2nd and 16. Blitz this time, 4-man rush, and Banks is going to step up and keep again. Had to avoid the umpire to get back to the original line of scrimmage. A huge difference this half. Iowa on first down in the first half averaged just under 10 yards per snap. In the second half on first down, they have averaged under 2 yards per snap. So no more second and shorts. 3rd and long here, needing to get near the 31. And they're going to be close on the catch by C.J. Jones. We'll see where they mark him.
C.J. Jones has responsibility to get beyond that yard marker and then come back to the ball and still have enough for the first down. He did not get that done. That's your job in a situation like this on a route like that.
College Game Day scoreboard next, and then Louisville, Colorado State. They didn't give him much of a spot either. They still need about 1.5 yards. He'll throw for it. It's caught. First catch of the day by a true freshman, Clinton Solomon. And he has the first down yardage at the 24.
That first down in college football stops the clock, and we're seeing excellent poise here by Brad Banks.
Banks out of the gun. Again for Solomon. And not much this time, only 4 yards.
Don't forget how many times you see a drive like this, the team scores with about a minute on the clock, an onside kick, they get the ball, they go down and score again, and before you know it, they're back in control. I'll guarantee you they're not quitting.
Not much time left for any more 4-yard patterns.
No. If you're going to do that, get out of bounds.
Time to get serious. Banks looking end zone. And caught by Brown. Reaches for the goal line. Got it. Touchdown. Maurice Brown. And Iowa is not dead.
Kind of like that.
Kind of like that.
Coach Barnett. Yes, sir.
What a great job of Banks hanging in the pocket and gunning it right down the middle of the field. That's a fantastic job. Stands in, steps, and just fires that ball. Look at Brown, gets it now. He says he sees that goal line. He says, gang, I am getting it over the line. That is determination right there. Great job.
Kading still has not missed a kick all year, field goal or point after. And now we'll see how they are on the onside kick as they cut it down to 5.
In a real rivalry, when the men are just absolutely determined to win, there's a never give up thing that is so much fun to watch. You have to admire the Iowa football team after all the adversity. Look at this throw and catch. That's great concentration. The college rule is when that ball breaks the plane, the location of the football when the knee touches, that's what determines whether or not it's a touchdown, and that was a touchdown.
And it was a team touchdown there. Great protection by the O-line as Coach Ferentz says, okay, onside kick, we'll get in there, and Coach McCarney saying, hey, that's why I told you guys, there's plenty of game left. This team can come back. Now the onside kick, Bill. The fun onside kick. How often does a kicker work on the? I know you get your special team periods, but what do you?
Let me interrupt you. Every single day,
but
you take your kickers over and you work on these kicks every day. Here's Seneca on the hands team. I lost a real good quarterback having him on the hands team one time, but I wouldn't mind seeing Seneca out there. He's liable to hit it up if it comes his way. You just don't want him to have a chance to hit him. Now, this is the kind of thing that you coach the kicker such that the ball takes 2 little skips and pops up in the air when it's done just right. And about the time it gets there, so do your guys.
Kading looks for the big hop, and it goes right to Danielson. And he hangs on at the bottom of that pile at midfield.
You're absolutely right, Bill. I know that. Remember going through, it's exactly how you want to do it. That didn't happen there. Skipped along the ground, didn't get that high pop, and a great job scooping the ball.
You got to be aggressive and go for it. That's what Lane Danielson did. I think he bobbled it around a little bit, but he did end up with it. I used to play up there in the front, and it's not a good feeling when it comes to you. Of course, I wasn't a receiver either.
But you know you're going to get hit. No doubt about it. They're going to light you up.
He's got a scholarship for hanging on to the ball. So of course, he had to earn his scholarship.
Yes, he did.
He's yet another one of those walk-ons. He's also a 420 bench presser, and that kind of strength would be much appreciated by my pop, who's a lifelong strength coach. He'd love to hear about a guy that gets in the weight room, one of those wide receivers that benches 420. That's nice.
So now all the Cyclones have to do is what they do best, and that is hang on to the ball and whether one more Iowa timeout. They give to Rutland. He gets maybe a yard, and here comes the timeout with 1:15. And if they hang on for another 1:15, they will take back to Ames the Cy-Hawk Trophy.
Now they're going to have to make a first down to finish this job. They can't just kneel down every play and run it out.
So when we're done here, as we've been telling you, we've got Louisville and Colorado State just about teed up and ready to go in Fort Collins. And let's look in there right now.
All right, Dave, and Bradley Van Pelt, the man that most of us have dubbed the toughest quarterback in America. Got the longest hair, perhaps. Getting ready to lead the Rams against Dave Ragone and the Cardinals at the bottom of the hour.
Well, I have to go a ways to top this one. Well, again, I can't remember a game that turned so completely, so quickly from 24-7 Iowa at the half, the way Iowa State took over things in the third quarter. Michelle?
Dave, you were talking about the trophy they're playing for. Let's talk about another trophy, the Heisman Trophy. Remember Joey Harrington's campaign in Times Square, the big painting? Well, Iowa State, when it comes to Seneca Wallace, says we didn't have enough money for that. So we're going to put him on the Sphinx in Egypt. We're going to hang his poster from the Eiffel Tower, from the Leaning Tower of Pisa. You know, in the first half of this game, it looked like Seneca Wallace's Heisman campaign was over, but it looks alive here in the second.
Yeah, you know, everybody has their Heisman candidate, and at some point it all gets lost in the wash. But if people really pay attention to this kid that they've got in Ames this year, I don't know what else you're looking for.
He's the real deal. The only other thing I would have looked for is if he had stayed in bounds both those plays in the previous series, this game would be over. And his coaches would be very happy about that because they're not going to be able to make this run out. I mean, Iowa's going to get the ball back unless they make a first down.
There you go. You're being a coach. Look at that fantastic game, and you're yelling at the kid. You're mad at him. You're mad at him.
I love him, but I can't help pointing those things out.
Tough love. Rutland. And 30 seconds.
Now they got to wait for the rest.
Depends on where they mark the ball.
Nope, it's
play
over.
clock has not started. It's going to be over.
They did get it run out by less than a second. Normally they'll mark it quicker than that in a situation like this, but they were a little deliberate, and hence the game is over.
So Dan McCarney has done it again. They'll take the Cy-Hawk Trophy back to Ames 5 in a row over his former cohort here in Iowa City, Kirk Ferentz, 36-31 with a 23-0 third quarter. Iowa State turned a deficit into another victory over the Hawkeyes. For Mike Golish, Bill Curry, Michelle Tafoya, Dave Barnett, this has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Back to the studio.
All right, David, for the 5th year in a row, the Cy-Hawk is going back to Ames. Iowa State beating Iowa.